अवज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तिशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतः चार्थेषुभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदि कवये मुह्यन्ते यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, chapter 28, and beginning from verse number 27, 28. So 29. So this is the story of King Puranjana. Now it takes a twist because the story of Puranjana ends. And Puranjana took birth as a girl in the house of King of Vidarbha. She was a very beautiful woman, one girl. And from here onwards, a different description of the life, because previous life was material life and this is spiritual life. So this is how we have Purva Paksha or Purmimansa and then Uttar Paksha. Puranjana's whole life history is that he was a pious person and sometimes engaged in impious deeds, but more a materialistic man. And now this woman who is born as Vaidarbhi or daughter of King of Vidarbha, she is a devotee. So her life is dedicated for devotion. And what is the end result of that will be described here. So both are described. So it is also interesting that the woman is devotee and man is an enjoyer. So he says that because he was always meditating, tameva mansa grandhan babhuva pratmottama Anantaram Vidarbhasya Rajasinghasya Veshmani. At the time of death, because he was very much concerned about the wife, how she will survive without him. So he became a woman. Although in the story he said that this was not really the intention here. He is talking about that तादृश धर्म बुद्धि विशिष्टमेव धार्मिक ग्रह जन्म लेभि इत्येतावदेव विवक्षितम् स्त्रीत्व पुंस्तत्वादिकं तु अविवक्षितम्. They say the point here is not whether somebody becomes a male or female, but what is the consciousness. So he says that the important thing is that he was born with good consciousness. उपये में वीर्यपणा वैदर्भी मलयध्वज युधि निर्जित राजन्यान पांड्य परपुरंगी. So King Malayadhwaja, he married Vaidarbhi by the price of his valor, Viryapana. So Pana is like the stake you put on something. So Yudhi Nirjita Rajanyam, that means there was maybe festival of marriage, many kings came and he defeated all of them and married her. So the Malayadhwaj is the name of the king and he is also called Pandya, which means he belongs to the country of Pandya. And he is also called here as Parapuranjaya, who is victorious over the countries of others or enemies. So he gives, Vishwanath Chakravarti gives a very nice comment on this. Takes a different explanation. अथ एवं जीवस्य यावत् भक्तिर्न भवेत् तावत् नैव संसारात् उद्धार. As long as one does not get devotion, it is not possible to get out of this material world. So it doesn't matter what one does, pious or impious, getting out of the cycle of birth and death is not possible without bhakti. There is no other way. There is no other way. And this bhakti is very mysterious. Very, very mysterious. So he says, Sacha Bhaktir Yadrichiki. And bhakti is Yadrichiki, which means that it is self-willed. It does not depend on anything. It is supremely independent. And there is nothing which can cause it. That is the meaning of the word Yadrichiki here. Yadrichiki means it happens somehow. No explanation can be given within the realm of cause and effect relation. So bhakti is called Yadrichiki and it happens as Yadrichika Sadhu Sangat. It happens by the Yadrichik Sadhu Sangat. That bhakti comes somehow by the association of a sadhu or a holy person somehow. And Yadrichikya eva sadhu kripya bhavati. And then the sadhu also gives his grace somehow. So bhakti is Yadrichiki, sadhu sangha is also Yadrichiki, and then the grace is Yadrichiki. That means somehow or other bhakti makes an arrangement for one to meet a sadhu. And then sadhu somehow or other gives his grace then it is possible. Iti darshan, to show this or showing this, tad janmani tasya sadhu sango babhuva ityaha upayam. So to show this, it is described that in this life she got or he got, we continue the story of Puranjana because he is using a masculine gender, means that Puranjana, he got sadhu sangha. So King Malaya Devaja is a sadhu, and marriage here means that he got the association of a sadhu and he became his disciple. That is the meaning of marriage. Adarniyattvena malayatulleshu sadhusu dhvajaiva shrestha. So Malaya is the mountain where sandalwood grows, Malayagiri, and dhvaja is flag, which signifies victory or superiority. So he says that Malaya here is signifying sadhu. Sadhus are like fragrant, they are pure. And dhvaja means best. So Malaya dhvaja means the best of the sadhus, best of the devotees. Upayeme kripaya shishatvena angichakara. And he married her means that graciously he accepted him as a disciple. To the significance. Virya pranamiti kripa lakshana svabhavevatra hetu netu anyakasit. And the price of valor or stake of valor means that it is only the grace by which he accepted as a disciple, there is no other cause. And this is just his nature. Not that something impelled him or forced him, or there is no other reason for this. Yaduktam mad bhaktim chedricha. As Krishna says himself in 11th Canto, chapter number 20, verse number 11. He says that asmin loke vartamana swadharmasto anadhasuchi jnanam vishuddham apnoti mad bhaktim va yadricha. That if a person who is pure-hearted, sinless, exists in this world, continues doing his duties, then he attains pure knowledge. And sometimes, somehow or other, he may also get bhakti. So for bhakti, again the word yadricha has been used, which comes many times in relationship with bhakti. So he wants to press this point. And then again in 10th Canto, chapter 51, there is a verse which also conveys a similar meaning. Verse number 54. Bhavap vargo भ्रमतो यदा भवेत् जनस्य तर्हि अच्युत सत्समागम सत्संगमो यर्हि तदैव संगतो परावरेशे तै जायते मति. He says that when a person is wandering in this material world, this is the prayers of Muchkunda to the Lord when he was sleeping in the cave. So bhavet janasya tari achyut satsanga. If somehow he gets the association of a devotee, satsanga, then satsanga hi tadaiva sangatau paravaresheti. Then because of that satsanga, one gets attachment to the Lord and gives up the sangha of this material world. So in this both places it is described that somehow one gets the association of a sadhu. Iti nyayena kasminchit janmani jivasya akasmadeva sadhu sango bhaved iti viyoksita. So for a living being, suddenly one gets sadhu sangha in some life. So Brahmanda Brahmita Kaum Bhagyavan Ji Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Ji. So living being is taking birth up, down, here, there, different planets. Then somehow, without any cause you cannot pinpoint, one gets the sadhu sangha or holy association. And then one's life changes. Otherwise not possible. Rajanyan vijitya tadaya papa aparadha kal karmadin nirmuli kritya. So it is said that he married her by defeating the other kings. So what does it mean? He says that it signifies that he accepted that person as a disciple by uprooting all the sins, offenses, influence of time, karma, etc. Because bhakti does not care for any of these things. So that's why it is said that when one takes diksha, then one becomes free from the karma. Because now one is on a different path and comes under the shelter of the Lord and not under the law of karma anymore. And Pandya Panda Deshodbhava. And Pandya means that he was from the country called Panda. So Pakshe Sadasad Viveshana Panda Tamarhati iti Pandya. And the alternative meaning is that the intelligence which knows what is wrong, what is right, what is devotional and what is non-devotional, that is called Panda. And one who has that, he is called Pandya. And Pandya is same as Pandya, and that is the meaning that he was from the land of Pandya. Means he knew what is devotion. Parapuranjaya Shatru Purajeta. And Parapuranjaya means one who is victorious over the land of the enemy or country of the enemy. And here alternatively means Matantaro Utta Sandeha Chedi, or one who can dispel the doubts which may be created by other philosophies or philosophers, and establish bhakti as the supreme or highest process and goal. So that is the meaning of Paraparanja. So then this marriage here signifies accepting disciple, and which means making that person free from karma, bringing to bhakti and removing all doubts. Tasyam sajanayam chakre atmajamasitekshanaam yaviyashaha saptasutan saptadravida bhubhitaha. In her, King Malayadhwaja, he produced first a daughter who was called Asitekshana, or who had dark or black eyes. And then there were 7 younger sons, and these 7 younger sons, they became the ruler of the Dravida country. This Pandya is also in the South India, and Dravida is south. Asitekshana Namni Kanyam. So the name of the girl was Asitekshana. And alternatively it means Pakshe Asitasya Sri Krishnasya Ikshanam Yayatam. Asita is also the name of Krishna, Asit Krishna. because he is dark. So an ikshnam yaya means who is always looking towards Krishna. Tam Sri Krishna Seva Ruchi. So it means the ruchi or taste of doing service to Krishna, that is the daughter. Srimad Guru Kripaya Jivasya Tasya Sri Krishna Seva Ruchirabhut. That means by the grace of the Guru, that Jiva or the disciple, he attained ruchi or interest or taste in doing service to Krishna. So that means he became free from the anarthas. Ado sangha tata sadhu sangha tata bhajan kriya tato anartha nivritti syat. And tato nishtha ruchis tata. So there is nishtha and then ruchi. So because he is doing service and he has the grace, so he got the ruchi. Yavishas taduttar kala bhavan sat. And younger means those which came afterwards, and those are the 7 types of bhakti. Sravana, Smarana, Kirtana, Pada Sevana, Archana, Bandhana, Dasya Rupan. So these are the 7 sons or younger brothers of Asitakshana. That is hearing, remembering, doing Kirtan, Pada Sevan, serving the feet, and worship, paying obeisances, and Dasya servitude. Sakhya Atma Nivedaneho Prathamam Duskarत्वाद Uttaratra Svateva Janisyamanatvacha Nolne. So why Sakhya and Atma Nivedan are not stated? Why only 7 out of 9? Says that this Sakhya and Atma Nivedan are very difficult in the beginning stage. They are not easily available. They are not for a beginner. And as one advances, then they manifest by themselves. Therefore, they are not stated here. Only 7. Kidrishan Dravid Bhumi Palin. And how were the sons? Those who became the ruler of the Dravida country. Which means Dravida Dese Gyan Karmadi Sarva Vijaytritvad Bhugrita Nirpaniva Virajmanan Dravida Desasya Sravan Kirtanadi Bhakti Pradhanatvad. That in the land of Dravida, the path of Gyan and Karma, they were conquered by them. And therefore they are like kings or the rulers. And it is seen that in the Dravid land there is predominance of bhakti, this Sravan Kirtan. And that is the significance.
But this Dravida land is not also a location.
The Dravida is Tamil Nadu, Karnataka.
In between this Saraswati.
There is no Saraswati there.
No?
There is no Ganga there. Ganga, Saraswati, Yamuna, they are only on the north. There you have.
But there was some piece of land which was.
That is Aryavrit.
Where the pious people are taking birth.
एकैकस्या भवत्तेषां राजन्नर्बुदमर्बुदं भोक्ष्यते यद्वंशधरैर्हि महिमन्वन्तरं परम्. And then from each one of them there were millions and billions of children who were born. So India is overpopulated. don't believe in one or two. And the descendants of these kings, 7 kings, they will enjoy the earth for the whole Manvantara. Tesham ekekasya arbudam iti putra patradi bhedam. So they had sons, grandsons and great-grandsons, like that. So now you see there are a few billions of that. That's why he says arbudam. Pakshe, and in relationship with Bhakti, what does it mean? Sravanadinam pratyekam nam leeladi bhede namadinam cha pratyekam avatar bhedais teshamapi dasya sakhyadi bhiruchitva bhedai ityevam asankhya eva prakara. So he says that all these Shravan, Kirtan, Smaran which are stated, each one has got many divisions. There is a Nam Shravan, there is a Leela Shravan, there is a Gun Shravan, there is a Rup Shravan. So these are various divisions. And then they are also related to different avatars. Leela Shravan, Nam Shravan of Krishna, of Rama, Balaram, Vamandev, Narsimha, so many avatars are there. And then in that also there is different types of Ruchi, Dasya, Sakhya, etc. So like that there are limited divisions of Bhakti. Yaduktam Bhakti Yoga Bhavidho Margair Bhavani Ti Bhagyate. This was also stated by Lord Kapila Dev to Mother Devhuti, where he said that, O Mother, this Bhakti is of various types because of different divisions according to the hearing, chanting, serving, reading, remembering and so on. Yesham vansadharai yataha pravrittai sampradaya bhedai kritsnamahi manvantaram. So the descendants of all these things, they will engaged in ruling over the earth, which means that there will be different divisions of sampradayas. So you have Sri Sampradaya, Madhva Sampradaya, and then further divisions in that. So they will rule over the earth. Manvantaram tatah param cha bhokshate avidya kam karmbhyo api rakshishyate. So they will enjoy the earth, means that they will protect the earth from avidya, ignorance, and materialistic activities, that people will not be so much interested in materialistic activities because of their teachings. Agastya prag duhitaram upayeme dhrita vratam yasyam dridhachito jata idmavahatmajo munihi. And this daughter, she was married by the sage Agastya. So popularly it is known as that Agastya is in South India. It's famous because once he was invited to the feast by Parvati, and then he was going to South India to drink water. So he never came back. So Agastya is supposed to be in South. I think in Chaitanya Charitamrita they mentioned that Lord Chaitanya also met him, but he met Shiva Parvati. Somebody he met. So Tamil language is supposed to be given by Agastya. It's an ancient language. Prag duhitaram prathama jatam duhitaram Agastya upayeni. So the daughter which was born first, she was married by Agastya Rishi. Then what is the meaning in the story? It is very interesting how he interprets this. It's not so easy to interpret it like this. It says, Agani swato gati asamarthani indriyani styayati sanghatayati swaina militi karoti ti agastya mana. Says that the word Agastya means mind. And how he comes to this, he derives the meaning from the word Agastya, which is made from two words Aga and Stya. Aga means not moving. The trees, mountains, they are called Aga. Aga means to go, and Aga means that which does not go or move. So he says that the senses, they don't have the power to move by themselves. And stya means to unite, to combine. And that he says is the mind, because mind is that which brings the senses together, the one who controls them. So Sa Krishna Seva Ruchim Svichakara. So Agastya married the daughter, and daughter was the Ruchi, taste in Krishna Seva. So mind became attracted to the Ruchi, means mind is now taking pleasure in doing service, not in anything else. That is the meaning of marriage. Mind became attached to Krishna, Krishna's service. Man mana bhavat bhakta manayagimam namaskar. Yasyam asita ekshnayam, and then one son was born from there. His name was Dridha. Dridhachuta. So Dridha means fixed, and Chuta means to fall down. So he says that Dridhani dayakshamadani vratani yasyam, that he has fixed or very firm vows of being compassionate and tolerant, etc. So that's why he is called Dridha. And Mahatkripya jivasya mana Krishna seva asaktam babhuva. So that means by the grace of the Guru, mind became completely attached to the service. That is the meaning of Dridha, fixity. Yasyam asitekshnayam dridhebhya satyalokahadibhyo api chutasthadarahita yamutra bhoga virago jatetyat. And chuta means without or to be devoured or falling down. So because there was this fixity on the service, so there was detachment from any idea of enjoyment or going to any planets like Satyaloka, etc. So that is meaning of Dridhachuta. Yadva dridhebhyo jnanadibhyo tat sadhyebhyo mokshadibhyo chuta manasa. Or the meaning is that Dridha signifies here knowledge, etc. Firm knowledge. And that which is coming from them, which means moksha. And chuta means to fall down from that. Meaning that his mind was not attached to even liberation. That is the meaning of Dridhachuta. Krishna Seva Ruchi Ektanatvat. Why is that? Because mind was completely fixed in doing service only to Krishna. Therefore there was no other desire. Anya sadhan sadhya spriha raityam jatam. So therefore there was no desire to engage in any other process or to achieve any other goal. Firm only in the devotion. Katham bhutam idmaha vaha atmajo yasya. And then he also produced a son who was called Idma Vaha. Idma means fuel and Vaha means to carry. Like you have Vahan from the Vaha root. From you also get the word vehicle in English. So Idma Vaha means who carried fuel, which means one who accepts Guru, or one who surrenders to Guru, because it is said Tad Vijnanartham sa Guru meva vigachet samit pani shrotriyam brahmanishtam. In the Upanishad, in the Mundak Upanishad, it is stated that if one wants to know and realize the Supreme Lord, then one should approach Guru only and not work independently. And the qualification of Guru is Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam, that he is learned in the Shastra, in the Shruti, in the Vedic knowledge, and Brahmanishtam. He is absolutely fixed in the Brahman or the Supreme Lord. And the student should go to the teacher with fuel in the hand, Samit Pani. This was a custom previously. But brahmacharis did not have any money, so they would just carry some wood to the teacher, which was used for performing sacrifice, and it was a symptom of surrender. It's like we read in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Sanatana Goswami, he took some grass and he was holding it in between his teeth when he approached Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that is a sign of humility and surrender. So that's in the Vedic culture, it was to carry some fuel wood in the hand to the teacher. So that is the meaning of Idma Vaha. Ityadi Shruti Prasiddha Samid Vahanopalakshita Guru Shakti. So this carrying the wood in the hand signifies taking shelter of the Guru. That's what it means. Katha Pakshe Agastyasya Putro Dridhachuta Tasya Putra Idmavaha iti Maladhvajasya Kanyavansha. As far as the story is concerned, then Agastya, he had son called Dridhachuta, and Dridhachuta had a son who was called Idmavaha. So this is the description of the dynasty of the daughter of Maladhvaja. Because he had one daughter and 7 sons. So first he described the progeny of the sons and then of the daughter. Vibhajya taniye bhakshmam rajarsi malayadhvajaha Ari Radhayeshu Krishnam Sajagama Kulachalam. Then Maladhvaja, what he did, that he divided his kingdom among his sons. He was a Rajarshi, a saintly sage or saintly king, and he went to Kulachal, the mountain called Kulachala, with the desire to worship Krishna. Aradheshu Krishna Sajagam Kulachala. So he renounced his kingdom. Kshmam vibhajya tatra tatra shravanadi bhakti bhedam pravarte. So dividing the earth or kingdom into various parts and making the sons as in charge means that he propagated various types of bhakti, Shravan, Kirtan, Smaran, etc. That is the meaning of dividing. Kulachalam Ekantasthalam. Kulachal means solitary place. Bhakti Pradam, where he can get devotion. Venkatadi Parvatam. It may be name of the Venkatachal, Venkatgiri, where there is a temple of Lord Venkateshwara. So that is also called Venkatachala, Kulasana. So he retired to that place. So what did the wife do at that time? Vaidarbhi? Hitva grihan sutan bhogan Vaidarbhi madirekshana Anvadhavat pandesham Jyotsnaiva rajnikaram. So Vaidarbhi, the daughter of King Vidarbha, who was Madirekshana, who had eyes which were very intoxicating, she gave up her house, children, enjoyments, and ran behind the king, just as the moonlight follows the moon. So she did not stay back in the house, she followed the king. So what is the meaning of this? Sutan hitva iti pativrata patyuriva. So just as a chaste wife follows the husband, like that she also followed, as we saw in the case of Prithu and Archi. When Prithu went to forest, then Archi also followed. Or even in case of Dhritarashtra, so there also we read that the wife followed him. So here also in the same way. And alternative meaning is this: Guroho sevayam pravitta shishya Sravana kirtanadini api Bhogan taduthan premanandan api Grihan taduchit vivikta sthalam api nayopekshate. That a disciple who is engaged in the service of the Guru, he gives up the process even of hearing, chanting, etc. Because these are the sons. So if there is choice that he has to do service or he has to chant his rounds or whatever, then he gives up the chanting and does the seva. That is the giving up of the sons. And giving up of the bhoga enjoyment. So that is renouncing the bliss which may arise by chanting the name, etc. You can sit down, chant and feel happy. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. So he gives up that for the sake of service. That is renouncing the enjoyment. And grihan, giving up the house, which means taduchita vivikta sthalamati. To chant, you may go to a solitary place and chant, or you go to some room or some corner. So he gave up that also. That is the significance. So he did not, the disciple did not care for any of these things. So the conclusion is that Sri Guru Sevaya eva sukhena sarva sadhya siddhi artham iti upadesho vendita. Here it is instructed here that by serving the Guru, one can very easily attain all perfection. Sarva sadhya, whatever is the sadhya, then it happens simply by doing service to the Guru. There is no need or worrying that I am not doing this or I am not performing this particular limb of devotion. Because Guru Seva is sufficient. That has been implied here. Madhyati hrishyati iti mat ira vani. Hishyantyam vanyam vedalakshanayam evi ikshanam yasya. So her name is called here as Madirekshana. So So he is giving a very interesting meaning to that also. He says that which brings pleasure is called mat. Because it comes from the root mad, madhyate, hrishyati. And ira means vani, the speech. So Madira actually means wine. But now he is giving the meaning of Madira as Vedvani, the words of the Vedas. Sanskrit is a very interesting language. If you know the grammar and you know the koshas, then you can really give far out meaning. Now you take any dictionary of Sanskrit and see the word Madira, you will see liquor, wine. And he is giving the meaning of Madira as Vedvani, the words of the Vedas. And Ikshana means looking, or the eyes. So Madhura Ikshana means that the person who is interested in the Vedavani, or who is devoted to the words of the Vedas. So Guru Sevaya eva Vedena Sarva Adhikyasya Uktattvaditiyat. So meaning here is that the service to Guru is more than the Vedas. That is the significance of Madirakshana. Madayati iti Madiram Sri Bhagavad Rupam Tatrikshanam Yasya iti Sandarbha. He is quoting Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami is given another meaning. He says that Madira means the form of the Lord. So Madayati iti Madiram Bhagavad Rupam and Tatrikshanam Yasya. So one who is always looking at the form of the Lord is called Madirakshana. Otherwise, the common meaning of Madirakshana means one who has eyes, like person when you drink, how your eyes look different. If one has natural eyes like that, then the woman is called Madirakshana.
Like intoxicated.
Yes. Because intoxicated with the youth and beauty, then Madirakshana. Yam. Actually, he gave that meaning also here. Katha pakshetu Madira Ikshnayor Yasya Sa Param Taruni. So he says, as far as the story is concerned, Madirakshana means one who is very young. So that's the common meaning. When the girl becomes young, then the eyes are intoxicated. Tatra Chandravashanam Tamraparni Vatodaka Tatpunya Salile Nityam Ubhiyanatmano Brijan. So there was a river called Tamraparni. This is also in south, and Chandravasa. And there is Vatodaka, whether this is the name of a river or there is water tree, like the one we saw yesterday, and the water coming from that. So there they lived, taking water from the Tatpunya Salile Nityam, taking the pious water of these rivers, Ubhyatra Atmano Brijan, and purifying their self by that. Ubhyatra Antar Bahischa Atmano Malam Kshalayam Tapa Astita. So they engaged in the austerities, remaining on the bank of these rivers, drinking the water, purifying themselves. And Kandasti Bhir Mula Falaihi Pushpaparne Strinodakaihi Vartamane Shanair Katra Karshanam Tapa Astitaha. So they engaged in the austerities, and became emaciated in their body while eating the roots and fruits from the forest and flowers, leaves, etc. So there was not much to eat there. Tasya tapascharanam prithuvad ati utkantha mulkameva vyakhyam. So as in case of Prithu Maharaj also, we saw that he engaged in austerity, and one may wonder that why a devotee has to do that. So he says that this is just to increase the intensity of absorption, that you avoid thinking of anything else, meditate. So this way the intensity becomes more, becomes fixed on the Lord. So now furthermore there will be description how the time came for Maladhvaja to die, and then she will lament, and then Brahmana appears and there will be dialogue. So that we will read in the next class, which will be on 14th of January. So tomorrow I have the students coming. So this part is very interesting. And also later on, very nice commentary by Vishwanath Chakravarti. And this whole dialogue also about where they try to misinterpret the falling down theory. That's very clear from the commentary. There is no fall down.
In the beginning of the class, it was also said it all comes by Yadricha, the grace, and but it is the Sadhusanga is Yadricha and so forth. So how do we actually define grace?
Grace means when one becomes inspired for spiritual life.
So it can be, like, it can come in any way, ordinary or extraordinary, if that element of inspiration comes along with it, we can call it grace.
Yes. Otherwise, what else is the grace? The mind is in the material world, even if it is a pious person, as we read Puranjana, that also does not solve. Therefore, he started his commentary, and this story of Vedarbhi came that as long as one does not take to devotion, one does not become free from the samsara. Samsara na nivartata. And if one is in the samsara, then where is the grace? Even if you go to heaven or so real grace is this. When somebody gets wealth, that is also grace of God. But Krishna says that it takes away.
So really speaking, grace is only with bhakti.
Yes.
It cannot be in jnana or karma or yoga.
Grace is only bhakti. Because without bhakti there is no nistar, there is no transcending the gunas. Mameviya prapadyante mayamitam paranti. So unless there is prapatti, there is surrender, there is no question of getting out of the material world. So it means only.
So everybody else who takes to karma and jnana and yoga and so forth, that happens by karma and not by grace.
No, we have defined grace, this which takes you out of the samsara. So now those things don't take you out of the samsara. It is not grace. This is the definition we agree to.
Okay. So then the materialistic religious person who goes and prays for material things, objects and arrangements, and when he gets them he speaks of it as grace. This is what, where does he, is there actually God involved in giving it?
Well, Krishna says, Artha jigyasu artharthi jnanam savartarshana. That even materially approach me and say that is also good. But ultimately he also gets grace.
But that yadricha factor only occurs in connection with bhakti.
Yes.
Any other grace that is
So
within.
when this person will turn his mind to bhakti, means now he's performing bhakti to get something for himself. But when he will realize, then that is grace.
Okay. And then later on it was mentioned that the qualification of the guru is
Srotriyam Brahmanishtam.
What does this mean in practice? I mean, in practically
It
mean?
means one who knows the Bhakti Shastra, that you are dealing with Bhakti, who understands, and studied, and one who practices and who is fixed in the conclusion of Shastra. That's what it means.
Brahmanish, obviously fixed in transcendence.
Yes.
But then this leaves like a big space for action or inaction. It's never really defined that a guru or a sadhu acts like this. Of course there's the anukulya and pratikul, but is there anywhere a mention in the scripture that these are the activities, or that's how a guru or a sadhu or a transcendentalist acts?
Well, not much specifically. In general, there is mention that even this Guru Ashtak by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining that he is happy to give prasad to sadhus, he is engaged in service in the temple and mandir marjanadu, and he engages the disciples also in that. He is expert in Leela Smaran, all those things are mentioned. So it depends, because we see there is so much variety in bhakti, as we saw. So some person may be more attached to Shravan, some to Kirtan, some to Smaran, or temple worship, or Goseva. So then it becomes very specific.
Yes, we see, there are so many gurus, and you see all these big billboards on the road with big portraits, looking very saintly and pure. But then when you examine the actions, the conduct of some of these people, I find it hard to believe that this falls within the category of...
Yeah, so that we have to examine. There's no fixed activities that someone is doing this. Because the thing is that bhakti is not action. Of course, in the sadhana bhakti it is an action, but ultimately it is bhav. And bhav is something which is internal. So that is very hard to study. What is the bhav of the person? And that's where all the problem comes.
Then these people say, well, this that's his leela. That's his, even if he, if there are really crazy things happening, they say, well, it's his leela. What is supposed to do with this?
What is supposed to do with this is that, as we said, that Guru, there is devotee and there is a Guru. Guru has a responsibility to teach. So if it is Leela, then what is he teaching from it?
Okay.
Right?
Mm.
He can do Leela. Krishna also comes and does Leela, but with his Leela he teaches something. So what is the education from that? Because Guru means a teacher. So is he benefiting anybody from this? I mean, Krishna did his activities here in Vrindavan, but with that he educated Uddhava. Otherwise Uddhava will not understand the difference between Vaidhi Bhakti and Ragana Bhakti. It's only after he came to Vrindavan that he was able to understand it. And because he understood, then we understand. So besides doing the Leela, because Krishna can do his Leela wherever he is staying, why he has to come on earth and do it? So because he wants to teach to us. So that education is there. And Guru is specifically a teacher. Krishna is teacher, but he is also God. Guru is God, but he does not play the role of God. He is treated as God, or we can even say he is God. But he is not playing the role of God in the sense that he creates universes or he maintains universes. No, his role is different. And that is giving education, and Bhakti especially. So then we have to see that if this Leela he is doing, how is it contributing to his role as a Guru? Who is benefiting from this?
No, I stop here. This is enough. Because then that puts God into the role of a revolutionary, the Guru in the role of a revolutionary. I was going to ask, is it also the duty of a realized person or a Brahmanishtam and someone who knows the Shastra to expose to the society its faults and mistakes and wrongdoings?
Yeah, at least to his own disciples. That's what he said, Paranjaya, which literally means conquering the enemies, which he managed to uproot the doubts of the students. So just as we have to follow, we also have to know what is to be avoided. So that is also the job of a good teacher, to make people understand, or the students understand what is right, what is wrong. So it's very important. Okay.
So I'm convinced now that Guru is more important than God, because without Guru there is no God. So
In that sense,
in
but
that sense,
there is no competition here. That
no, not.
Guru is more important.
But
The whole purpose of Guru is to take it along.
yeah.
But Guru is obviously the person who is practically manifest to you as God, and he is the one who is taking you to God. So he is the practical part, or practical form of God, you can say.
Yeah.
So
Another
in that
thing,
sense, he is important.
yeah. You were saying also that a devotee can, let's say there is a limited time is limited, so he has to choose if he wants to get into this happiness of absorption in the name, or serving directly the Guru, or doing something for the Guru. So in that case it's prominent to offer the time of the service to the Guru.
Yeah, if one has the duty to do service, then it's just like if you're say, engaged in deity worship, and then you have to feed the cows. So now you may take 2 hours. So you feed the cows, or you do your deity worship and let the cows starve.
But I will feed the cow naturally.
Practical.
Practical.
So that's what service means. So you sit down and chant, and the Guru is hungry, or he needs something. So you say, well, let me first finish my rounds, then I'll bother about him. That is not recommended. That's what it means.
Because also Jiva Goswami, you were explaining about this word that I don't remember, Sanskrit word, which means to see, the definition of a person who can see always the Lord.
The direction.
This word. So Jiva Goswami was saying that means having all the time the vision of the Lord. And the previous commentary was saying that this is the Guru.
There's a different way of explaining the same.